Welcome back to the Internet Interviews, everybody. It's your boy Josh, and today, kicking off, I wouldn't really call it a new season of the Internet Interviews, but it's been a while since we've done one of these, and what better guest to bring along than the voice actor who brought us in to Rescalifer. Let us welcome the voice actor of Miss Velina, the voice actor to Ceridra in HSR, the voice actor to Ember in Arc Knights Enfield, voicing in multiple different anime video game titles, just a quintuple threat, and also apparently the cat bee in Poppy's Playtime. Is that right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, we have to do the IMDb, scroll, just in case.
I have to do it all the time. I forget what I've worked on.
Everybody, welcome in Miss Rhiannon Michelle.
Hello. You can call me Ree, by the way.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for having me, Josh, by the way. This is really cool.
So we're gonna go through the iceberg. We're gonna go through the iceberg of Ree today. To start off nice and easy breezy. How's our weekend?
Really busy, insanely busy, which is lovely. As a creative, it's so great to be so busy. This week, I'll have sessions for 4 different games. I'm doing an audiobook, and I've got 2 commercials. And this awesome interview. So it's one of those weeks where I'm very grateful and excited about my work, but I'm also really tired.
Especially when it comes to your voice as the instrument, right? How good are you with voice management?
Pretty good. I used to work in musical theater and I trained in classical voice. So I come from a very health and vocally conscious background, which I think is what is. So the big thing that you cannot substitute is sleep. No matter how busy you get, you cannot have less than for me, I can't have less than 8 hours if I want to keep my voice.
I did want to start off the ball rolling with how we got into voice acting. Start at the beginning, not too far into the beginning, but let's start at the beginning of it all.
Well, I was born in Bangkok. No, let's not go that far back.
Wait, whoa. We were born.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, I was only born there. I didn't grow up, unfortunately. I wish I had, because it's a gorgeous place. But I actually, weirdly, I spent my early childhood in Alabama, in Dothan, Alabama, in the States. My parents were moving for work.
Okay.
And then when I was about 6, they moved back to Australia. So I wanted to be an actor since I was a kid. An actor or a pediatrician. Those were my 2 goals. I was like, I'm either going to help people or I'm going to be on stage yelling at them. I was very lucky. My parents were really supportive. I did a lot of classes. I did singing. I did dancing. I was working my butt off, probably a little too hard. Moved to the UK, worked all over here, and then worked in Japan briefly, where I met Rissa. Yeah, I was doing that, and then the pandemic happened. And to be honest, I was really struggling in theater. I wasn't feeling my best, if I'm completely honest. My mental and physical health were rough. I realized that I was not in a great place when the pandemic happened and all of the theaters closed. And my first thought was, oh, thank God. I was like, that's not a healthy response. So I pivoted, and I had done some fun audio drama serial comedies for a friend of mine. He's a great writer, actor, producer. It's called The Penny Peep Show. And it was just these serial comedies that he was doing to keep himself sharp. It was amazing. I had so much fun, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this VO thing. I'd never considered it, especially growing up in Australia. It was not something that was ever offered. No one ever mentioned it in any of my performance courses. I took the pandemic, once again, so lucky. My partner kept his job, so we had a stable income. So I was able to sort of spend the downtime reskilling. I signed up with Gravy for the Brain, which is an online VO sort of course.
Oh.
And went to school, basically. Just sat down every day, watching every video they had, practicing, built my little PVC pipe acoustic blanket booth, built a website, and started acting like I belonged in the industry. That was about 5 years ago. I had a lot of help, I should say as well. People like Rissa and Jess Nesling here in the UK, Leonie Schleesing. I owe so much to them. And Amy Smith, God, in Australia, phenomenal voice actor. Honestly, I just started pretending I knew what I was doing. And I did to a degree. Eventually, the first game I got was in 2021, end of 2020. It was a point and click adventure game, and they were just like, yep, you're in. And I was like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing. And that first live directed session was one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Not to bring up the PTSD, why?
I've just never done it before. I think anytime you do something new, that imposter syndrome comes on hard. Not to diminish it, but it felt in a way too easy coming from theater where
Mm.
I had to have an agent, and that agent I had to then go and perform in front of the casting director at several paid workshops before they would consider bringing me in the room. And then
Mhm.
I would have to get in the room and do, you know, they wouldn't take me through the first year. I would basically do the first year as like an honorary year where I would audition for them and they go, we'll see her next year. Like it's very rigid and structured. And this was like, I emailed someone and I said, can I be in your thing? And they went, shoot an audition. I went, yeah. And they went,
Mhm.
okay, great, come in. And it was, and it kind of just went from there. I was just very relentless. I felt a lot of joy that I hadn't had in years, and I followed that.
That's one of kind of the leading things, especially for me, being a creative now as a streamer and a content creator. Chasing that joy will be get more opportunities and be get more ideas and stuff like that. And that's a great mantra to live by.
But I'm so glad you found your joy too as a content creator.
Chat.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how you do it. I couldn't stream. I wish I could. I couldn't.
What do you think's holding you back from being the #1 biggest streamer of all time?
Everything. Even now, I'm like hyper aware. I'm like, what is my face doing? What am I doing? Don't
Mhm.
move in your chair. Like, because I'm a movie person, and I'm like, oh, that'd be so annoying if I was watching. Don't do that. How does my voice sound? It sounds kind of high. It sounds a little tired. Maybe I should take a break after this. I scrutinized as a voice actor is hard enough.
Mhm.
I can't imagine being scrutinized playing games. I'm not witty enough. I'm not fun enough. People watching me save scum. I don't want people watching me save scum. I don't like. I want to play my games the way I play them.
Yeah, chat notoriously loves to backseat.
Like I said, I try also not to take my job and my life too seriously. I used to take theater very seriously. I very famously said to a friend of mine, who is now one of my dearest, oldest friends, when we met like 16 years ago on an amateur production of Les Mis, she was like, oh, I'm doing Les Mis too. And I went, I'm not here to make friends. I legitimately said that. Look, 19-year-old me had some issues.
We were
but
so locked in though.
I was,
That's
and it was
commendable.
funny because I wasn't that good. So can you imagine someone that locked in? And and it's great because we laugh about it now. And like I said, one of my dearest friends.
Early in our voice acting and potentially even kind of referencing some of our training as we were coming up as just an actor in general, what were overarching lessons that you've kind of anchored you or created the foundation that is your voice?
The acceptance that I will suck. There will be times that I suck, and that is okay, and it's a very normal part of the process. Once I sort of accepted that it was okay to fail, it was okay to put out a performance. Like some people on Reddit, hear things I've done, and and they're like, oh, I freaking hate her. I hate that performance. That was friggin' terrible. And it's fine. Genuinely, that's totally okay. Like that's their opinion, and sometimes I agree with them. I agree that wasn't my best day. I like this part. I think I did good here and here, but
Mhm.
this section of the role was muddy. Actually, I just didn't rise to the occasion. I didn't think about it in the right ways. And I always ask myself, like, if something hurts, if I'm embarrassed or I feel bad about it, I always ask, okay, how can we grow from this? Because otherwise you go crazy. So the big thing I think that I've ultimately learned is it's okay to suck. Don't be afraid of sucking, because also the best work I do is when I'm pushing myself to my limits and testing where it's so weird. Some of the best acting in the world really is walking that line of shit and brilliant. Like, think of like the Nicolas Cage theory, like, is he the good kind of bad or the bad kind of good? I mean, he rides that line like it's everything. Maybe a little too hard.
All right, national
But
treasure is a national treasure, guys. Okay.
I agree. Respect yourself, respect your boundaries. It's very easy, I think, early on when you're desperate for credits or desperate for cash to like give people everything. And someone's like, "Oh, can you do me this 500 line role for $20?" And you're like, "Yes, I understand." And we're at a very tricky time where these people will increasingly just turn to AI, and we don't want them to. So maybe you'll lower your standards, you'll lower your rates. But what that ultimately does is just lower the whole industry. I think that's another big thing is nowadays when I'm not against, by the way, collaborating on with indie rates. So make stuff, collaborate, but be very wary of who you give your time and energy.
Let's do a little bit of the pivot. We're gonna go another layer deep here into the iceberg of and we're going to do one of my favorite segments, the lightning round.
Okay.
We're gonna ask you some lightning round questions. You don't need to answer as fast as possible, but you know, to your truth, You're walking out to your debut boxing match fight. What is your theme song?
Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. What is it? I feel it coming in the air tonight.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Number 2, you get to hold a tea party. Who are your 3 celebrity guests off the top of the dome?
3 celebrity guests. I've forgotten all celebrities. Vincent Price. I know he's dead, but I really would love to meet him.
Let's bring him back. 3 favorite amusement park ride.
In Australia, I really, really loved, it's gone now, but I really loved the Wild Wild West. It was like a log flume ride based on the film Wild Wild West.
Oh, okay. Dude, I
studio.
love log rides. Oh, they're great.
No.
Okay.
Wait. It's the Jurassic Park ride at USJ.
What is a recent bucket item list that you have completed or that you added to your list?
I can't say, but I got to work on something on an IP that I've always dreamed of working on.
That is that's a fine answer. You are stranded on an island with one of the characters that you have voiced. Now, you cannot escape the island because, you know, you could just be like, oh, this character flew me out of here. You can't escape the island, but if you were stranded on an island with one character that you voiced, who would it be?
Ember. I feel like she would respect my space, but also be incredibly resourceful, and we could just chill in silence together and nothing would be expected of me.
That's the lightning round of questions.
That was weirdly stressful.
No, we did great though. We had some good answers. Dang, I keep alluding to the USJ arc. I've been curious ever since like Risa also mentioned it to me. How did we end up working
USJ?
Universal Studios Japan?
I was 26 and I just did the global auditions. Like they tour the world. I'd auditioned a few times when I was like 18, 19, 20 in Australia, and I'd never made it past the first round. I was kind of crushed because I'd studied Japanese growing up at school. It's very common in Australia. Like it's one of the it's the go-to language subject often. And I loved it. And I remember asking my sensei when I was like 10, I was like, if I were to be a singer and I want to work in Japan, she was like, well, there are 2 jobs. You could work at Tokyo Disney or USJ. So from about the age of 10, I was like, I want to work as a singer in Japan. Yeah, and I auditioned and I got a call back, and I remember thinking like, oh, I finally got a call back. And I worked really, really hard to learn the material because it was you had to sing a cappella in a quartet and puppet the frog as well. So you had to sort of like, it was a bit like, you know, patting your head, rubbing your tummy. The frog is singing a different track to the vocals that you're singing. That was really fun. But I nailed the audition. I don't mean that like, oh my God, I'm amazing, I nailed it. No, but like, it was the best callback audition I'd ever done. I got along with the team really well. They had me read for like multiple parts in the park. They just kept bringing me, like they kept me all day and just kept bringing me back in and being like, hey, why don't you just try and read Marilyn Monroe for fun? And why don't you just read one of the acting students for fun? And try this, try that. Let's do it in this voice. And it's the only time maybe in my entire career that I've thought, yeah, I've got this. And then I got it. I moved in 2016 and I spent a year there. And it was honestly one of the best years of my life. I did have to leave my husband behind in the UK. Oh. My husband and my cat. So that sucked.
Oh.
I had the best time as a performer. I got to practice my Japanese, use every weekend to travel and see different areas and ride around Japan, and I loved it. Like also, I will say that like there was a part of me that was like in my head about my appearance. I was getting some fan mail saying, we love the fat one. You are the fat one, which is fine. Honestly, it's Japan. They did not mean it as an insult. I know they didn't. The words they were using. They really didn't. People thought I was very cute and round. And I was the smallest I'd been in my adult life, and I was having some issues with body dysmorphia and things. So that just didn't help.
I would assume not, no.
Now, I have all those letters, and I prize them. They're so precious to me. I look back, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if people think you're fat or fit. It really doesn't. I was really proud of my performance. Yeah. I made great friends that are still friends today. Honestly, it was a fever dream. It was so wonderful.
Is Cerebro your first entry into the Hoyoverse sphere?
Yeah, it was.
How was it landing that role? Because a couple of people have like different experiences with, especially with like video game roles.
It was weird. It was terrifying. It was weird because it was the first audition I'd ever done for this studio. I didn't know what it was for. I just got the character briefs through for 2 characters. One was Cerebro and one was Hycelins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I remember I recorded for both. I loved the High Ceilings audition. I was like, oh, I've got this. I'm so high ceiling. I feel great about this. And the Surrender audition, I was like, this is garbage. This is a hot, steaming pile of garbage. Thought I'm not going to send it because I'd never auditioned for this studio before. And I was like, I don't know how they're going to feel about it. Like, I don't want to send it if it's so bad that it makes them go, oh, we'll never audition her again. And then I sent them both to my agent and I went, hey, I'm really proud of this High Ceilings one, but it was codenamed something else. But this other one, I'm really not sure of. Like, what do you think? And I think she just wrote back. She was like, great, thanks. And I think she was just like, what are you talking about? I don't know. And then I booked it and I was like, great. And then I found out what it was. And I was like, oh no. Because I knew it had such a massive fan base and people really love this IP. And I was like, hey, it's the character that I was like, oh no, I don't feel confident in this role.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I nailed that character. And then on top of it, I was like, okay, remote recording, new studio, big IP, very important to a lot of people. Maybe she's not a big character. Maybe it'll be fine. These studios behind the scenes, guys, they work like well-oiled machines and they book you weeks in advance and the schedules are so carefully lined up. Like it's a beast. I don't know, 3 or 4 sessions, I'd come out of my booth and go up to my husband and I hug him and I'd be like, I sucked so bad. And he was like, oh, he was like, I'm sure you didn't. And I was like, no, I think it's really bad. I think I'm going to get canceled. I was so worried. And then hilariously, when she came out, I was like, oh, I'm really proud of this.
I freaking nailed it. I freaking nailed
I
it.
did. It's not even that. Do you know what it is? And this is another lesson I've learned. Trust your director. If you've got a good director, which I did, I had good directors. If they say they're happy with it, they're happy with it. Phil pulled me up when he was like, nope, you've dropped out of the character voice. Nope, that didn't land right. Nope, do it again. Like, he was really straightforward. And I kind of love that. And if I was like, are you sure that... He's like, yes, move on. It's not all about me. It's not about me feeling comfortable. It's about serving the text. They're often working with minimal information as well. Velina was a case of that. We really didn't have much for her first session. I didn't know she was gonna be an agent. I was like, oh, I'm playing this secretary character, cute. It's very funny, like when you audition for things, because they're behind so many code names and like so much red tape and weird paperwork that most of the time you have no idea what you're auditioning for.
Yeah, sometimes like they don't even show you the picture. More times they do, but like sometimes they don't like even.
Oh my god, I have to say, like I didn't see her before she appeared in game. And it's so funny because one day I was like, oh
okay.
Cool, she's in game. And I like opened up someone's stream and I was like, cool. And I was watching it, the way it panned up her, I was like, oh my god. Oh, she's beautiful. I hope, Whoa. I felt weird looking at her. I was like, stop talking out of her mouth. You disrespect this beautiful character model.
I'm sorry I'm in your presence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, basically, I was like, oh dear.
I did want to bring up something kind of cheeky with Saritra. Since Saritra is such a pivotal figure with HSR, and one of her shticks, she is literally the chess queen. I wanted to challenge you to a bullet round of chess. Would you be down?
Of course, I'm so up for sucking at chess.
Now it's time to duel.
Oh god.
Okay, I'm gonna open with the greatest chess move of all time.
Sick. I'm also gonna move my piece.
Ooh, that was such a good move. I'm gonna move
Thank you.
Here.
I'm nervous already. I'm just gonna pop that there. No, where are you gonna go with your horsey? There. I don't love that. I don't love that.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm trying to remember stuff. So I learnt chess from a boy in my class when I was in grade 4, so I was like 9 years old.
Okay. I'm
just trying to remember. He taught me because he really wanted someone to play with him at lunch, but I sucked so much he just stopped asking me to play.
Oh.
Like he taught me the rules and then was like, wow, this girl's dumb as a post. And I was like, yep, I'm gonna go outside and eat grass.
We were yapping before the Discord and we were talking about eating like just rolled up balls of different like food items. And for me, that was fruit roll-ups. I would take the fruit roll-up. Yeah, I would take it out of the roll of the paper and then I would just roll it up into a ball and just like boop.
We were monsters. Like that's just what you did, you know? For anyone who actually knows how to play chess, they're watching this and just in physical pain.
Were you a big, like, board game person?
Yes.
Okay. What was our favorite board game growing up?
Ooh, growing up. Oh, that's different. We only had fairly standard board games, but I suppose growing up, I had the Pokemon board game that came out in like 19...
Oh,
you know what,
that's such a great
you flipped
pick.
the token?
Oh my gosh, that brings back so many memories.
We destroyed that game. We played it so much.
Love me some
And we would
Pokemon.
play it until we cleared the board, until every Pokemon had been caught.
Yep. I like this move.
I hate this move. This move sucks. Why did you do that?
Oh, it's time.
I'm sure that was thrilling for your viewers. You're all very welcome.
Yeah. I'm sure that they weren't ready to backseat us at every turn. Let's move away from chess and back to our little interview here. That's what we're here for, actually. Especially when it comes to VOV work, not expletives, like the
Efforts?
Yeah. We're like, oh, you're making the grunts and like you're doing more like action scenes where there's little talking. It's just like, acting out the voicing, the breathing and the grunts, stuff like that, right? Drowning. Yeah.
Oh, and getting specific with pain is really important. That sounds weird, but like you can't just go over and over again, because people, especially in games, like combat heavy games, you're going to be hitting and getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
They need to sound specific. So like you're being punched, you're being stabbed, you're being burned, you're having a limb chopped off, you're being bludgeoned. Like those all sound different. You gotta, and quite often the way those sessions will run is quite quick. They'll be like, all right, give us 5, they're like, give us 5 short pain, go. And you need to make 5 short pain sounds that sound different and specific. And they'll be like, all right, 5 medium, 5 long, 5 deaths, 5 long deaths, 5 breaths right before you die, 5 catching fire, 5 drowning, blah, blah, blah. And it just goes on and on and on. It's quite intense. It's a whole thing you have to learn, and a lot of people don't know about it until they're in a session and suddenly they're faced with an hour of efforts and they go, holy crap. I'm very lucky because I'm a big gamer, and I had been since I was a little kid. So I was growing up going like in my bedroom. I was okay. But for actors who are coming to games, and more this is happening because games are huge and a lot of actors want to work in games, either from film or theater. They get in there and they've never, somebody says to them like scream, and they go, ah! And they're like, no, scream like you're being stabbed. And they're like, ah! Because they've never ever had to deal with that. There aren't a lot of things that specialize in teaching you efforts. I taught myself from just playing games. It's a very important part of the job that kind of flies under the radar until you desperately need it.
You know what they ought to do? Method act. That's
Oh
right.
yeah,
You just
Go
gotta
out and
get your
glass.
limbs chopped off. Well, I think, folks, it is now time to jump towards the chat Q&A. We answered a couple of these, folks. That's why I told you guys to be unique with your questions, okay? First question, what has been the most enjoyable part of being Velina's VA? And do you have a particular line that you really enjoy doing that was funny to you? XYZ.
Jshoea and Billy come in and she assigns them as the household appliance and a pet. When we record, I laughed, like I did that obnoxious like when I read it in the booth before we recorded, because I was like, how much does she know she's insulting them and how much is genuine, like this is just how we had to do it, sorry. And we kind of made it that the first one, which is Jshoea like being a pet, it's like this is just what we had to do. But then because Billy mocks her, she's a bit more like, and you're a toaster.
You are a toaster. You're a microwave.
Yeah, exactly. And I really enjoyed that.
Next question. Do you have a favorite character? Do you have a character that kind of speaks to you that you're like, oh, that's a fun character. I like them. That's not Velina, of course.
Velina. Yeah, of course. I really like Jshoea. I think she's hilarious. And I think her performance by, God, who's her actor? Please help. Erin Yvette. She's like really good at like really explosive energy and but making it so specific. Yeah, and she makes me laugh. I find her character just so enjoyable.
Next, are there any IPs or certain dream roles of characters that you would like to do someday? That you're like, oh, if as a budding voice actor, or even now, you're like, ah, man, I'd love to be able to voice in this character in this IP.
Alien is a big one. Anything in the Alien IP, because the Alien movies are very, very precious to me, especially like Alien and Aliens.
Yes.
And then the comics split off. Not Alien 3 so much. Alien 3 had its issues, but like I won't get into that because I could talk about that for hours. But like I grew up like obsessed. I saw Aliens when I was 3 years old. Big mistake, but also best thing that ever happened to me. because I was like, I'm gonna be Ellen Ripley when I grow up. Like that's who, like that was my idol in school. That's who I wanted to be. So to be in any Alien IP would be huge. And the good thing is, like, you know, Disney owns it now, so they're going to keep making stuff. So there is a chance. Star Wars, that's something else that was really formative to me growing up. The Mass Effect games, and I know
Ooh,
anything
okay.
that, like, BioWare-esque even, like, even if I couldn't touch Mass Effect, like, if it doesn't, I know they're making more, but
Yeah.
you never, I mean, these are crazy times for the games industry. It's really, really hard. Who knows what's going to happen?
And I also do love to cap off our sessions, our internet interviews with this question. If you could leave yourself and chat one piece of advice when it comes to budding or upcoming aspiring voice actors, you know, maybe even just like actors or creatives in general, what would your one piece of advice be?
It would be that you and your life experience are valid as they are. You do not need to be anything else. Nobody has seen the world from your angle, I guarantee it. Use that. Bring that to your performances. Let that part of you seep into your characters, rather than, you know how we said earlier about not, you know, letting a role consume you. Rather, let the parts of you that matter shine through, that make you unique. And in that, remember that everyone's journey is different. Very much like being a streamer, like you said, Josh, there is no path that leads you to being a voice actor. Kind of wish there was, because it's very, very hard when you start out and you're kind of overwhelmed. And the industry is constantly changing. So even if I tell you how I got in, it's not the same world. We're not competing with the same issues. Be open-minded. Respect yourself and your time, and share what you have. And also, you know, learn how to act. That's a big thing. But
just act, just do your job.
just act, damn it. That's my advice. And like, fall in love with the journey. Fall in love. God, I hate it. Fall in love with the rejection. This is, get good at it. Get good at rejection resilience. It hurts, and it will always hurt a little bit, but I promise you it starts to hurt less if you work on it, if you actively sit with the hard feelings rather than run away from them. Don't like try and drink them away or eat them away or do anything else to make the feelings go away. You have to sit in it. You got to meditate. You got to sit in the ugly feelings, and trust me, they will pass through you.
Everybody, Rhiannon Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
That is the internet interview, everybody. Woo! Ooh, last thing, where can we find you outside of the interview?
I'm not great with social media, I'll admit. I don't post much anymore, but I try. But you can follow me on Twitter, Rhiannon Mauschel, Instagram. Also, if you look for Rhiannon Mauschel, this is the cool thing about having such a unique name. There are no others. You will find me. I'm also on Blue Sky, but I'm, once again, post very sporadically. Look up my name and just about anywhere, and I'll probably be there. Oh, not on TikTok. That was a bridge too far for me. When TikTok came out, I went, I can't do another platform. I can barely hold on to these three. If you'd like to meet me in person, please request me at your cons. It would be really lovely to meet people.
And you becoming the next number one top streamer, of course.
Guys,
yeah,
get ready for my Twitch career.
You're gonna pop off so hard, guys.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a joy.
You were amazing. Thank you so much. You brought all the energy, but thank you so much.
Yeah,
we'll have
hopefully.
you back on soon sometime. Yeah,
I gotta get more stuff. I'll work on it.
All right, let's do it.
Bye.
All right, bye.